Hello everyone, welcome to our Chinese culture class. Today we are going to talk about the China 6 dynasties. In the history of more than 2000 years of feudal dynasty in China, there are 6 different eras can represent China's history and culture. Tang, Song, Yuan, Ming, Qing, and the Republic of China from 1912 to 1949. These dynasties have a big influence on today's Chinese culture and our way to think. Okay, let's look at the first Tang Dynasty. Tang Dynasty was an imperial dynasty of China, preceded by the Sui Dynasty and followed by the 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms period. It's generally regarded as a high point in Chinese civilization and a golden age of cosmopolitan culture. Do you know who is he? He is the Tang Taizong Li Shimin, one of the most famous emperors in the Chinese history. He had a famous sentence: "Take copper as a mirror, you can tie up your clothes. Take people as a mirror, you will know what to do is right or wrong. Take the history as a mirror, you will know how the things rise and fall." Tang Taizong is a good emperor. He treasured the talents a lot and make a great Tang. And this person is Wu Zetian. The dynasty was founded by the Li family, but was briefly interrupted when Empress Wu Zetian seized the throne. Then she became the only Chinese empress. Wu Zetian, her tombstone no verse, so it's very famous tomb. Okay, now look at these pictures. That's the traditional Tang woman's clothes and makeup. From the picture, we can feel the Chinese culture flourished and further matured during that time. Concepts of women's social rights and social status during the Tang era were notably liberal-minded. And the Japanese learned the culture from Tang Dynasty. Nowadays, if you go to Japan and to see their traditional culture, you will feel you are in the Tang Dynasty. Okay, this is Tang Dynasty's currency, and this is the Tang Dynasty's poem. It's also considered the greatest age for Chinese poetry. Two of China's most famous poets, Li Bai and Du Fu, belong to this age. During Tang Dynasty, the people loved to drink tea very much. Tea became synonymous with everything sophisticated in society. The poet Lu Tong devoted most of his poetry to his love of tea. The 8th century author Lu Yu, known as the Science of Tea, even wrote a treatise on the art of drinking tea, called the Classic of Tea. Okay, now let's look at Song Dynasty. This painting we call Qingming Scroll now is the national heritage. Through the painting, we can see the prosperity of that time. The people, the bridge, boat, buildings, and the animal, the trees. That time is a good time for people to live. And do you know who is he? He's the Chinese hero Yue Fei. Yue Fei is a national hero, and this picture, his mother was carving the characters on his back. The characters means loyalty and patriotism. And this person, maybe you have some memory about this person. When we introduced the Peking Opera, we have the blackface, right? Blackface means 包公, a moon on his head. 包公 is for the justice. He is a good official. The Song dynasty was an era of Chinese history began in 916 and continued until 1279. Coincided with the Liao and the Western Xia dynasties and was followed by the Yuan dynasty. Song dynasty is divided into two distinct periods, Northern and Southern. During the Northern Song, the Song capital was in the northern city of Kaifeng, northeast in Henan province, and the dynasty controlled most of eastern China. The Southern Song refers to the period after the Song lost control of its northern half to the Jin Song Wars. During this time, the Song court retreated south of the Yangtze River and established its capital as Hangzhou. Although the Song dynasty lost control of the traditional birthplace of Chinese civilization along the Yellow River, the economy was still strong. It was the first government in world history to issue banknotes, true paper money nationally. Like this, we call Jiaozi. Jiaozi in the Northern Song dynasty is the earliest paper money in the world at that time, earlier than the United States and Europe for over 700 years. That time, the first Chinese government to establish a permanent standing navy, and also the first known use of gunpowder and to know a compass. So that time the culture is colorful. And then it's the Yuan dynasty. Yuan dynasty is a special dynasty. Why I said this? Because it's led by the Hubilie Khan, the Mongolia person. Yuan dynasty is special because their culture is different from the traditional Chinese people, Han nationality people. They are good at riding horse, they are using the yurt, and they live in the plain, eating the beef or mutton. They have different clothes style and different hairstyle. Yuan people are the nomad. They are social-educated Chinese elite that time were not given the degree of esteem that they had been accorded previously under native Chinese dynasties, because that time they separate the Chinese people for 4 degrees. The traditional Chinese elite were not given their share of power. The Mongols and the other parts of the people, they are largely remained in their government. And the Yuan dynasty is different from the Qing dynasty because they keep strangers to the mainstream Chinese culture, but the Qing dynasty not, so they last a long time. And this dichotomy gave the Yuan regime a somewhat strong colonial coloration. The unequal treatment is possibly due to the fear of transferring power to the ethnic Chinese under their rule. The Mongols were given certain advantages in the dynasty, and this would last even after the restoration of the imperial hegemony in the early 14th century. In general, there were very few North Chinese or Southerners reaching the highest post in the government, so Yuan dynasty perished soon. Look at this. their normal life, and they preferred bonfire party. And then is Ming Dynasty. The Ming Dynasty described it by some as one of the greatest eras of orderly government and social stability in human history. Was the last imperial dynasty in China ruled by ethnic Han Chinese, because the last dynasty is Qing Dynasty. Do you know who is he? This person is Zheng He. He is a famous navigator, and that time the Ming Dynasty had the fleet is very powerful. They spread the civilization everywhere they want, exchange goods, and Zheng He the voyages of exploration into the Indian Ocean as far as Arabia and the eastern coast of Africa. That time the fleet is really strong. And this is Zhu Di. Zhu Yuanzhang capital Nanjing, but his nephew Zhu Di changed the capital to Beijing. So we have the very famous tourist place. Ming Dynasty Mausoleum, 13 Mausoleum, and that's the first time to gather the system mausoleum. The last feudal dynasty is Qing Dynasty. The Qing Dynasty, officially the Great Qing, and is established by the Manchu Dynasty, was the last imperial dynasty of China, ruling from 1644 to 1912, with a brief abortive restoration in 1917. It was preceded by the Ming Dynasty and succeeded by the Republic of China. The Qing multicultural empire lasted almost 3 centuries and formed the territorial base for the modern Chinese state. This is the Emperor Guangxu, and they are his wives. Guangxu is a special emperor because he found the Chinese culture and system is not good. He want to change, but was stopped by this old woman. I think the whole Chinese people regard her as a guilty person, 慈禧. In Qing Dynasty, there was a sentence called "leave your hair" or "leave your head," means you must make your hairstyle like this. There are several famous emperors in Qing Dynasty, Kangxi and Yongzheng. In the TV programs, we also can get more information about Qianlong Emperor. Kangxi is the father of Yongzheng. I guess you know the Lama Temple. Lama Temple is the Yongzheng's mansion, its place to live. And when he became the emperor, he left that place and to become a temple. And this is Cixi, waste a lot of money. I think the Chinese, the modern history, from the modern history, she is the guilty person. In the Qing Dynasty, we have the Manhan banquet culture like this. One year they will choose the time to make a lot of food from the different place in China. On the one hand, I think they show the strength of that dynasty, but on the other hand, that time reflects the corruption. That's really serious waste. In Qing Dynasty, we also had the famous novel called A Dream of Red Mansions. This the European people called a mirror of 18th century of China because it reflects a lot of culture of the traditional Chinese. feudal culture. And the last part is the 民国. 民国 means Republic of China from 1912 to 1949. This is 民国's money, and this is our founding father, Sun Zhongshan. Sun Zhongshan overthrew the feudal system more than 2,000 years and established the Republic of China. And this is Jiang Jieshi. Jiang Jieshi, together with the Mao Zedong, they make the inner war. And then Jiang Jieshi failed and went to the Taiwan. The Taiwan problems now originated from Jiang Jieshi. In 民国, in that time, the people, the women preferred 旗袍. 旗袍是圈衫. We call 旗袍 in Chinese. That's beautiful, right? That can reflect the Chinese woman's figure. That time is very popular, but nowadays, only in the competition or some match, beautiful shooting, they will use this. Okay, that's today's culture class. Thank you very much. If you have any question, can send me email.